such an asshole!
Hey everybody, the old captain here, and we have a request at Asshole Consulting. You can go to assholeconsulting.com about global warming. And this has been a video I've been wanting to do for quite some time. I just haven't gotten off my ass to do it, but then the guy paid me $100. And nothing like money will get me off my ass to do it. And this is more of an intellectual one. And I say that not because there's something intellectual about global warming, but because I'm on the libertarian side of the political spectrum. There's a fair amount of libertarians who are also certainly more than Republicans or conservatives that are concerned about environmentalism, concerned about the environment, conservation, and stuff like that. However, when I have received questions, or I wouldn't even call them interrogations, it's all been very polite. They're like, well, wait a minute, don't you... Geez, Cappy, you're right on all this other stuff, but you don't believe in global warming? It's like, no, I don't. And so people have then inquired, well, why don't you? Because they're thinking like, well, wait, you know, what evidence do you have that I don't? And I always ask, what evidence do you have that I don't? So I'm always willing to be convinced, because if you show me better data or empiricism and logic and reason, and not hyperbole and fake data, I am always in the pursuit of reality. So I had to go through, and because I wanted this to be more of a making a case, not a vitriolic, hate-filled argument, which is typically what leftists do. They're more emotionally invested because a lot of them do use environmentalism as a substitute for agency, purpose, and reason in their otherwise worthless life. I think the questions coming from our little sphere of the world are a bit more intellectually honest and general. So I did want to put together, I got 2 whole notes, and even this is going to be a bit abbreviated, but I present to you my case, why the old captain just doesn't believe in global warming. So, okay, the first thing, and I have about 5-6 points here that compile my case. So the first thing is I want to know who is telling you that that global warming is happening, and if it is and that all this bad stuff is going to happen. And if you look at who it is the same culprits who've been telling you a lot of lies this entire time. Right? It's leftists, and I might add, it's baby boomers. Now, a lot of you are a little younger than me, but those of you who are old as me, maybe a little bit older than me, you remember the ozone layer, and you remember the starving kids in Ethiopia, and you remember the rainforest. So what would happen, this is the proto-environmental, this is the proto-global warming people, is they come in and ask us stupid kids who didn't have any money, we need to save money for the rainforest. We need to have money to save the kids in Ethiopia. Never mind, it was because it was a Marxist dictatorship that took over, that the Ethiopian kids were dying, and these people were Marxists themselves. We need to donate money to save the ozone layer. And then I also explicitly remember where it wasn't the rainforest. It was like, we got to save the forests of the United States because these evil lumber companies were coming in. Well, you grow up and you find out the lumber companies, it wasn't like they were just going to go out and start wiping out all the trees in the United States. And if you've driven through the United States, you know that is damn impossible. Never mind that we fight forest fires and that there's more trees in the United States than there's ever been because we stop forest fires. Never mind all that. And never mind that it's not cost effective for Georgia Pacific or the other paper companies to just start going and tearing down virgin timber, because you have to go further and further and further away from your paper mills and your paper plants. So that's why they go and they grow. They have it down to a science. Look up, if you want, I know leftists don't do this, look up the annual report of any one of these paper mills. Georgia Pacific is the one that comes to mind. And you'll find like, yeah, no, we grow our own because we don't have the gas to keep hauling up way up there on top of these mountains to go get those trees. So these were the same people that were telling us that, and now they're the exact same ones telling it today. The other thing, tell me if this sounds familiar. Are these not the same people that told you young people that you should vote for socialism or Obama, and therefore vote in your own slavery? Have you seen what happened to the national debt under Obama? Have you seen what they're the ones telling you got to vote for Social Security and Medicare? Excuse me, are you benefiting from it? No, but your teachers sure the hell are. These are the ones that dupe you young kids into like basically enslaving yourself to these older generations and going after these little pet crusaderist topics du jour of ozone layers and, oh my God, we got to save the rainforest. And then did anything happen? The lungs of the world are going to die. We're still here. What else? Oh, these are also the people that told you that men are women, women are men, that there are 31 flavors of gender. This is albeit a little bit more recent. but the same camp, they're the ones that are ruining and making millions of women's lives miserable, not to mention making men's lives miserable. They're the ones advocating replacing parents with the state. They're stupid enough to say that the nuclear family is no better than a broken home, a broken family, and that's what it is. All right, so these are the same, because it's not coming from the right. It's not, you may hate the religious right, but they're advocating nuclear families, and they're not saying anything about global warming. If anything, they're against it. This isn't coming from capitalists. It's coming predominantly from the left and baby boomers, I might add, older ones, right? And then finally, isn't the exact same people that tell you young kids that you should go to college no matter what, and that you can't put a price on education, and that any degree is a good degree, it just gets your foot in the door. These are the ones that are pushing college education and are running rampant, like that Fareed Zakaria, or whatever that CNN fuck was. Oh, you're defending liberal arts degrees and humanities degrees. Aren't they the ones saying that you should go sign up and borrow $120,000 of debt and get yourself a master's for some poetry degree? All right, what have they been right on? What? Tell me where they've been right once. And they always have some ulterior motive and incentive. So the first thing I would ask, my first point, is consider the source. Like, all of a sudden, magically, now they're right. They were wrong on the rainforest. They were wrong on the U.S. trees. They were wrong on Ethiopia. They were wrong on ozone layer. They were wrong on men and women. They were wrong on marriage. They were wrong on the nuclear family. They were wrong on the education bubble. But then, now they're right. These guys just happen to be right this time with pure integrity and honesty and no ulterior motives, because it's global warming this time. This time they're correct. This time they're right. All right? So I would say, look, they literally fucked you over financially, emotionally, psychologically, career-wise, and matrimonially, family, with the genders and all that. They're going to fuck you over with this too. I don't trust these people. I don't trust where it's coming from. And it's kind of, most of you guys are on my side politically, economically, and you're kind of, I don't trust them. Why would you trust them now? Why would you trust them on this one topic? So that's the first thing, right? The second thing is they have a shitty track record, all right? There's all these people making these predictions, and I don't give a shit. Well, what is it? The French president says we have 500 days, in May 2013, he says we have 500 days before we reach global catastrophic catastrophe, and global something like that. The 500 days came and went, and nothing happened. Leonardo DiCaprio, we have 8 years, and the 8 years came and went. Al Gore, I'm sure, said the same thing. I even wrote some down. There's limitless numbers of failed prediction. Limitless. It's insane. And I understand these are celebrities, these are politicians, these are stupid people. I don't care. They're the fucking spokespeople. If Leonardo DiCaprio and Al Gore and the fucking French, that's not the president, it was the foreign minister, Laurent, I took the notes here, Laurent Fabius. If you have these leaders and these cheerleaders and these spokespeople, so we have, I don't give a shit if they're scientists or not. They're wrong. They're the biggest advocates of it. Their celebrity power or political power, head of state, you're advocating this? You don't have your facts right, and then you make these predictions and they fail? Where are you getting your data? And then even the professionals. UN predicted 8 years ago, they predicted 8 years ago, not 8 years ago today, they had made a prediction saying in 8 years, something was going to happen. It didn't happen. 2005 UN prediction, in 2010 there'd be 50 million climate change refugees. There was the doctor. I remember doing a Clary podcast or a Clary test on this guy. He had a degree in mechanical engineering. I remember because he kind of stood out, and he was I think maybe head of the UN Climate Commission or whatever it was. And, these glaciers are melting in the Himalayas. Turns out that's still there. They're not melting. And then if you also want to look at some other kind of more blatant ones, as oh my God, the Arctic shield is melting, or the Antarctic ice caps are melting. You find out they're thicker than ever. Guys, seriously, just look up failed predictions of global warming. And I know that's biased, like you're searching for, I understand that, but if it's going to really be science, and we're supposed to take these people at their words, then there should be nowhere near. I understand every once in a while you get something wrong. Who knew the Cubs would win? Who knew Green Bay was going to lose to the Falcons? No one bats 1,000. But if this is science and this is their fucking track record, holy shit. Goddamn Christianity has more shit right than these guys. It has less holes in it, honestly. And especially if you're going to have like your foremost authorities come up there and say, oh, this is going to happen in 5 years. All right, it didn't happen, Leo. But you know what? You're going to tell me, oh, well, we got to change around. It's different this time. We forgot this. Now, related to that, third reason, models. Models, I do not like because of, one, the nature of models, and then two, the track record, especially as it pertains to global warming. Models are models. They're computer models. They don't know for a fact. They're aimed to predict the future. And if I know something about models working in finance, all right, you put together these models, they're not even that great. And finance and economics in the stock market is a much smaller environment, a much not as big or not as many variables. Now, it's still huge. It's probably the second largest variable or multivariable environment that you're trying to model. So like if I want to model stock prices, I got to consider everything. But what I've noticed about models, especially in fact, they're worthless. They're fucking shit. One might work a little bit for a little while. But in the end, very few people can beat the index. Very few people can predict the stock market because there's just way too many variables. Now, you think the stock market is multivariable. You think the economy is difficult to predict. Holy shit. And we've got years, centuries of ways to go and look at stock market. We have centuries of data that we can use. But now global climate change, oh my gosh. You think you're going to predict the world, the climate, all the variables that are involved in that? When there isn't even that much of a... All you got, what, temperature, CO2, maybe methane gas or whatever, but there's... And then what? Okay, suns. I'm just trying to think of the truly unlimited number of variables that can never be captured in a model to have a shot at predicting trying to predict hurricanes and sea levels. Oh, fucking suck my dick. All right? Your models are even going to be worse than finance and economic models, and those are pretty shitty to begin with. And then, and this shows, because the second point about the models is when you compare what the models are supposed to predict and what actually happens. That's kind of the ultimate test, and they're failing. They are not predicting what actually happened, which you can see here. All right. Now I'm going to make a note here. 1246. I got to put this note down so I know where to put the image so you guys could have seen it there for you. Okay, 43. Okay. So the models right off the bat are unreliable at best. Two, they're failing. All those models are failing. Global temperatures have not gone up as much as they have. And then this, excuse me, this just calls into question the entire science. Like, you're failing. It doesn't work. All right, right there, that's enough for me. Like, yeah, you predicted that, it didn't come true. On top of all your fucking spokespeople that are fucking talking to try to predict it didn't come true. Sorry, your models don't work. Your models don't work. All right, now, this leads to the fourth reason, the financial incentive. When these models weren't working, look at ClimateGate. All right, search that. Bunch of emails were leaked out. Turns out they're like freaking out because the temperatures weren't going up as much as they were. They're constantly reprogramming their models. Oh, we forgot this. Oh, we forgot this. Oh, we forgot this. By gosh, that nasty, nasty world global climate just isn't obeying with their models. So then, there's evidence, you could go ahead and look it up because we don't have time for it here, where they're manipulating the data, where they're like, you're saying, oh, well, we have to make some adjustments because some of the temperature gauges we were understating. I mean, they're starting to manipulate the data, and they're starting to massage the data to make it look like there's global warming. Why? Because there's every financial incentive for these worthless global science change, climate Scientologist type of people, because they wouldn't be, what do? I program models that don't work. Well, fuck you. Go work at Arby's. Go do something valuable. Go clean the toilets, you asshole. Well, no, you see, I studied 8 years, and now you have, like, what, 2 decades worth of people? How long is global warming going on? You got a bunch of these dipshit kids that are my age now, majored in environmental science, got their doctorate. You think they're gonna, like, oh yeah, it's all hokum, it's all bogus. No, they want their pound of flesh, they want their money. So just like a priest that goes to, or a monk, or a pastor goes to seminary for 6 to 8 years, you think after investing that much time, they're going to, oh yeah, well, I looked at it, and yeah, I don't really believe in God anymore. Fuck no. All right? They're going to have, yep, there's God, tithe to us, give us the 10%, and that's all these people are doing. They're just rent seekers. That's all they are. They're frauds, they're charlatans, they have every financial incentive to go and say there's global warming, because if it goes away, then their jobs go away. It's the same thing with Jesse Jackson. If people all of a sudden started hanging out and, blacks and whites got together and were having a cool time, one another, that's the worst thing that could happen to Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. What would they bitch and whine about? They'd have to get real jobs. All right? Just like there are race whores and race pimps, so too are there global climate whores and global climate pimps. And they're getting there. It's not a ton, all right? But that's how they make their dough. They know what side the bread is buttered on. And then another thing related to the finances of this, think about this. Why is it always... Have you ever heard of a solution coming from the left that required cutting taxes and giving more money to the people and letting people have more freedom? Why isn't it odd that all the solutions require higher taxes and more government and less free? Have you thought that one through? All right? I'm trying to step back. I'm trying to step back from those teachers who are in the cacophony and the echo chamber of the public schools say, there's global warming, there's global warming, there's global warming. I'm trying to step out of that. Isn't it amazing? You never hear from these people. You know what? The solution, if we could ramp up production, if we could lower taxes and get the economy booming again, that would solve the environmental problem. They never come up with it. It's always... We need to raise taxes. We need to slow economic growth. We need more government jobs. We need more government interference. We need more money. That's because the number one thing driving this, the number two thing driving it, the number one thing is that people want to have some kind of purpose, agency, and reason in life without actually having to work hard. So it provides a very convenient religion for worthless people to believe in. I go green. I go organic. I have a small carbon footprint as they buy the latest iPhone from last year. The second thing, though, is financial. You can never You think people at the welfare department want people to get off welfare? You think all these gals that majored in social work actually want happy nuclear families? You think the teachers union wants kids to learn and not have special needs? They make trillions, guys. Look up the budget. You don't have to believe me. They make trillions a year off of problems that don't exist or problems they refuse to solve. They love problem children. They love racial tensions. They love crime. They love poverty. They love divorce. And they love global warming, whether or not it exists or not. Because that just says, hey, look, more money, more government jobs, more power for us. Right? So you could say it's conspiratorial, but I'm saying the incentive is there. And it's a huge incentive, especially for these Scientologists. Scientologists, same thing. Scientists, global warming scientists. So we have that there. And then there's financial incentive. Talked about the taxes. Talked about ClimateGate. Okay, now this is simple, and I've pointed at number 5. I think a lot of people who aren't leftists, I will lump us all together, be conservative, libertarian. Basically, if you're not a leftist, what you do is you hear these complicated, nuanced arguments coming from the left. And you fall for the immediate trap in trying to, by granting them intellectual honesty and believing that the argument is that complex or nuanced. I mean, economics is a perfect example of this. Well, there's the Phillips curve. Well, you see, there's a multiplier effect. It's like, no. Cut taxes, let people keep their fucking money, and stop rewarding people being lazy. It really is that simple. I mean, you could throw away 90% of the college textbooks on economics because, but you could fall for that trap. Paul Krugman wrote this. Oh, that's very interesting. Maybe I should study it. Fuck the Phillips curve. The Phillips curve can suck my fucking dick. All right? And it's the same thing with global warming. Sometimes you step back and you need Occam's razor. You got to look at some evidence and say, it is that simple. And one of the biggest and most damning bits of evidence that I've seen why global warming isn't real is because they changed the fucking name. The 70s and 60s was global cooling. But admittedly, back then they speculated. They went, well, it might happen. Then, oh, now it's global warming. Oh, so how good are your scientific methods now? Apparently not that good because they changed it to climate change. Wake the fuck up. It's very similar to this. Here's what's it's very similar. I hate to keep going back to religion, but global warming is a religion. When I was a kid, you all know I was a pastor's kid, and it wasn't necessarily my dad, but everybody in that church, everyone, we went to parochial school and they made us goose step. They presented the argument that this is facts, this is real. You must believe in this or you're going to go to hell and burn. And you're a little 5-year-old kid like, I don't trust the hippie-looking, pedophilia-looking dude with the robes on. I don't trust him with the long hair. He looks like he'd touch me in naughty places. Fuck that. You're going to go to hell anyway, right? But once you get older and these simple arguments, you're going to burn in hell no longer works, so you start looking at it. Do you know what the name of the church that my dad preached at and that we went to? Called Faith. Now think about that. Faith. You say, do you have proof? Inevitably when you get older and you push people with logic, empiricism, reason, and evidence, and you're open-minded to them, inevitably you will get intellectually honest people who are religious say, well, all we have is faith. We have faith. Oh! So you got no fucking proof, huh? Oh, you'll do the burn in hell. You'll do the stick. Oh, as long as but once those brains start to develop a little bit and they start, well, wait, do we have any empirical proof? Do we have any reason? Do we have any evidence? No, but we have faith. Oh, well, fuck you with a big-ass stick up your ass, through your nostrils, and in your eyeballs, assholes, because you were lying the entire time. So, wait, where was I going with that? Oh, shit, I had a great analogy. Global warming. Climate change. Oh, shit, I forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, the point is that they've changed the top. There's no empiricism. There's no, it's them tipping their hand. It's a simple argument where it's like, wait a minute, you just changed it to global change or climate change? I thought you were all set, and that happened in the past 10 years? I mean, guys, it's I guess maybe that was the analogy. It's when people who are religious in the church or whatever finally admit that it's faith, then all of a sudden this is them tipping their hand, albeit squeakish. Well, it's global climate change, not global warming anymore. Well, then you were lying that was the analogy. You were lying the entire time, having your bets on global cooling. Then it was global warming. Now it's just the climate changes. Fuck you. It's not that hard of an argument. And if it was global warming, why didn't they stick with it? Why did they switch it? It's a simple question. You know, everyone likes to think they're all independent-minded, and they're not. If you can't catch this one, this big red flag, where it's like, well, we're switching it from you'll burn to hell to faith, and we're switching it from global warming to climate change, you should be, I got a question, and it's going to end with my question, and then go fuck yourself, all right? So please be independent-minded and catch that one. I mean, that, simple as it may be, that's an admission of being wrong. And constantly reworking their models, and their models being wrong is wrong. So, we have that there. And then finally, there's the Vostok ice core sample data. If you don't know what that is, the Vostok, it's a place out in Russia. And they bore this hole of ice, they took this ice pillar out, and they can measure the CO2 and the temperatures based on this. So it gave a track record of 420,000 years. And this is what it looks like here. Okay, I'm going to note that as well. Just bear with me. I want to make sure we have the 2340. Okay. And if you noticed it, it's very chaotic. The temperatures are going like this. And what we're debating at is, if you look to the, I think it was to the right of the curve, is, oh my gosh, temperatures might go up a degree. Temperatures were fluctuating way the hell more than just a degree. Of which, by the way, if you don't know much about human evolutions, humans have been on the Earth for 2 million years, well before this Vostok ice core data. And if you look at the swings over at the Vostok ice core data, you see swings of 10 to 12 degrees Celsius. I remember the x-axis corrects us, that's Celsius, right? Not Fahrenheit, which is more. And you guys are hemming and there's the temperature might go up 0.5 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we're all going to die. It's like, no. We have gone through much colder, actually. It was a lot colder, and sometimes hotter. And we've done just fine. And what it also points out to me is just how futile this is to debate global. Like, humans are going to control the environment. We're going to do something. No, we're not. The Earth could fart one big volcano, not Pinatubo. They were talking about, in the 17 or 1600s, when was it? Some volcano erupted and the whole place cooled down because there was so much ash up in the atmosphere. A comet could hit us. Here's something else. Maybe Tesla technology, like it develops that electricity and wind power actually does it, and all of a sudden our carbon emissions go down. Some change, something will happen that temperatures could go down, they could go up, but it's going to be outside of our control, although Tesla would be human good. But the Earth doesn't give a fuck about you. The Earth, it's going to do what it's going to do. And us humans, we might raise a little bit. Oh my God, look, the temperature went up a degree. And then you're predicting that the Maldives are going to be underwater and that the polar ice caps are going to melt. Oh, fuck you. Just look at that chart. I mean, it shows you how arrogant and how much hubris these global warming people think that humans have that much control over the Earth. So, if you take all that and you look at it and you summarize it, it's my opinion, just the old captain's opinion. There's always a 5% chance that it's real, and I'm always open for that. But they haven't been able to prove it. But if I look at the entirety of evidence, and especially the behavior of people who believe in global warming, and especially the cheerleaders of it, especially where it's coming from, I'm 99% sure this is just a fucking scam. It's just another fucking feed the kids in Ethiopia. It's just another, oh my gosh, the rainforest. It's just another, we need to help feed the poor and social. It's all it is. It's just another racket, guys. It's just a fake religion for all these smart intellectual liberals to replace it because of, fuck you, Dad, I'm not going to go to Christianity or church or I'm going to go to synagogue or anything. But then, boy, they line up to worship at the altar of global warming. It makes more sense that people are making profits, just like the Pharisees, just like the priests, just like the Catholic Church did in the olden days, getting their tithing and their support from the blind, stupid masses, just like these global scientists, just like the global warming community, the professionals, just like the politicians who benefit from more taxes and government, benefit from these people needing a religion, the sheep needing a religion, who and I wish these leftist rank and file sheep who believe in global warming, who brag about how green they are, realize just how the hypocrisy, like, I'm too smart to believe in religion. And then you subscribe to something that has a worse track record than Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, or Judaism, or any religion for that matter. I just wish, but there's the reason. It's much more likely, I'd say there's a 98% chance, that this is nothing more than another money-making operation that's as old as religion, where you give people meaning, agency, purpose, and reason in life so they don't have to work. They're saved because they were green. They're good people. You're a good person because you recycled. And then these people don't have to get real jobs. Have you noticed how they don't work real jobs? They all major in the liberal arts. As long as they go and they vote for more government money, more taxes. They don't even have to pay. The people who they don't really pay. They're not the ones paying the higher taxes. So this doesn't mean I'm against the environment. The truth is, being a minimalist, I actually am a better environmentalist in practice than most of your environmentalists. I mean, I drive my vehicles into the ground. When we get our little heat bill thing, I use a lot less gas and a lot less electricity because it costs money. I mean, a true economist, people who are true conservatives or libertarians who don't like pissing away their money on stupid crap, we consume less resources just because it makes financial sense. Also, I'm a big advocate. I like the national parks. I like nature. I don't like it when people litter and all that. But this has gone beyond being good stewards of our environment, being good stewards of our natural resources, and actually caring about it has become nothing more than a religion and a money-making operation. And you can see this hypocrisy. I mean, every time this happens, look at all the gals, Million Woman March or 250,000, whatever it was. Presumably, they all care about the environment because that's what left-wing women do. They care about the environment, and they leave just trash around. They just leave trash. Guys, either practice what you preach or don't. Okay, I practice what I preach. I just don't believe in global warming. But I'm not going to be out there burning diesel fuel in my backyard to add carbon to it. All right? I think everybody needs to sit down, evaluate, look at the track record of these global warming professionals, see if they've actually predicted anything that's come true yet, see if any of their doom and gloom forecasts have manifested themselves. And then more so, I think, and you'll see it. You'll see it. Try and look at it from a viewpoint of human incentives. View it as a religion. View it as a scam or a racket. And then also view who it's coming from, who have a tremendous track record of running scams and rackets ever since the 60s and the 70s, especially to the Gen X generation. I mean, I know you millennials think, oh, global warming, oh my God. Guys, that's just the rainforest version 2.0. I've seen it before. It's the same people. They're untrustworthy people. Look at their incentives. Look at where the money goes. And then ask yourself what's more likely. All right? So, yeah, do care about the environment. Don't waste resources. That's stupid. That's dumb for you. All right? It's bad for your budget. But for the love of God, unless someone starts coming up with some really better alternative theories or ideas or insights, do not believe these charlatans and frauds. These are evil people. Worse, they're lazy people. And they don't care if they slow down the economy and make it so that you have lower standards of living just so they can collect their fucking UN, NOAA government checks. Like every leftist, they care more about themselves than they do the people that they claim to be helping and the causes they claim to be helping. So, anyway, best of luck to you. If you guys got questions, go to assholeconsulting.com. You can see my blog at captaincapitalism.blogspot.com. You can listen to the Clary Podcast on SoundCloud.com. Look at the Clary Podcast. And then buy all my books because that'll make you smart. You could get them on Kindle so as to be very environmentally friendly. Go to Amazon.com, search AARONCLAREY. Toodles.